Hello and welcome back. So today we are going to develop OPC UA client, custom client with the help of .NET library to access the historical data from the OPC UA server. So to read the OPC HDA historical DA server is an easy task, but to read OPC UA server history, which is not easily available in every client. So for that we are going to develop that client which can read the OPC US server historical data. Okay, so the limitation of the client is your OPC US server should support the local historical data. Then and then you can access all the data from OPC US server history. Okay, so this will be the on demand, or it can be automatically call the OPC server to access historical data between start and end time. So this is the the rough architecture, like what we are going to do. So as you can see here, this is our OPC server. It can be any OPC server. The OPC server is an open protocol communication server which will transfer our operational technology data on the OPC protocol, like the data coming from the PLCs, SCADA or any sensor devices. It will get the data from those equipment and transfer all the data on single protocol called the OPC, which is an open source protocol. Okay, so if your OPC UA server having the local DB database which will hold all the historical data of your sensor, of your PLC or any remote devices or any operational technology devices. So what OPC UA will do, OPC UA server also store all the current value and past value in its local database here. So when client want to access all the historical data, client will send the request to OPC server and that I want data from this start time to this stop time or end time. Okay, so as per the client request, OPC UA server will deliver data from its database to client. So this is required where you are dealing with historical data, or you are running your historian where all the data, all the operational technology data are storing in your central historian. Then sometime you require to do history recovery from your OPC server if some data are not available on your historical server. Then you need to fill all the gaps from your OPC client on demand history recovery from your OPC UA server. So for that this application is useful. So we are going to build our own OPC UA client which having historical capability to access the history data from your OPC UA server. So this is the architecture. Now we are going to Visual Studio. So we have developed this program. This is our UI, what we are actually doing. So this is our server address. See, every OPC UA server having endpoint called the node URL from which you will access all the data. So for the test purpose we are using ProSys OPC UA simulation server. This is the free edition from the ProSys which having historical data capability. So you have to install for testing purpose ProSys OPC UA simulation server, or you can test this application to any OPC UA server which having the historical data access. So right now for the trial purpose we are using OPC UA. This is our server address. Okay, so you can copy from the here our server address. Now our server having, these are the simulation tag which having historical data supported. So how to check your tag is having historical data supporting or not? So you can extract the detail of any variable and check whether it's supporting historical data or not. So every client are giving the information of your server tag which is history is it is there or not. So to check the historical data whether our tag is supporting or not, you can go to object simulation, this counter. Now go to attributes property, see historizing. So historizing is true, that means this counter tag are historizing its data. So this tag having history available. Now we'll come back to object. So we have OPC server which having historical tag called the counter and which having the node ID. So every tag having node ID. So we can only access with the help of node URL and node ID. Okay, these two information, or you can also call it instrument ID. So this information required to extract the data from our OPC UA server. So for the trial purpose, I am using counter variable which having address ns3 semicolon I is equal to 101. So this node ID I will be used as my data reference. Now we'll come back to here. So this is our UI we have created. Here you have to enter your server URL, which is your node point. This is the instrument ID which is called the tag node ID, and you have to give a start date and end date. So in that between, when you press the read data button, it will retrieve all the history of that instrument ID from that server between start date and end date, and it will list in here data table. So you will get timestamp and value, and also you will get the trend history of your data, historical data. So for that we have used dependency package from the NuGet, which is OPC UA FX client. So we are using this library. So how to get this library? You have to right click on the dependency, manage NuGet package, and you can search here which is OPC UA FX. Okay, so here I am using this client library from OPC UFX for our dependency, because we require library to run the OPC client commands. Also for the plotting of our graph, I am using scatplot library from this scatplot. So we'll go back to read data. So what our function is doing? Okay, so I'll let you let me explain what we are doing, our master logic. See, this is the function. First we are creating one client from the OPC URL. OPC URL we are fetching from our text box 3, which is this one. Okay, okay, now we are connecting with our server, and also we are using two variables, start and end time, which are getting from the date picker. And this is our command which are extracting the history from our server. So this is the count value, how many records you want to extract. So I am putting in 99999, so I want to get all the record from between start and end time. read node history. I am using function read node history. You can get all the detail of this command from OPC UA FX website, and you will get all the command in detail. Also, for each value I am writing in command window that I am getting this data, and see, this function is creating I created for the type conversion because I am getting the value in string format. So I am converting and concatenating and splitting this string, so I can get the value and timestamp in table format, so I can display in the table view, and also I have to convert all the values and timestamp in the double array. Okay, so I can display on the trend. So this all logics which is that purpose only. So this is our heart. Okay, so now we'll run this application and we'll check whether we are getting the data or not. Now I am simulating. Say I am getting two view of my application, one is GUI and one is a command line. Now I'll put my server address here, so where you will get from the process OPC UA simulator. I am copying this server address and I am pasting here. Also I need instrument ID, so I am fetching the value of counter variable, so which is ns is equal to 3 semicolon I 100, ns is equal to 3 semicolon I is equal to 1001, I think. Yeah, it's fine. And I want only today's record data. So when I'll press read data, it will start reading data from here. So only two values are available, so I will go back to 1 day and read data again. So you can see these live values are coming. It's reading all the value from start date 21 November 2022 and to end date. So it's reading, this is the value and date and time, and I've converted all the value and date and time in table format, so you can get value here, this timestamp and a value. So as you can see, you are getting the raw data. That's why I've used the parsing method to parse all the data in tabular format. So here you can see all the data you retrieved from the 21 to, there is no data between 21, so up to here you are getting all the values, right? So from 22 November we have data on 4 p.m. Okay, also you can plot the data by pressing the refresh button. Something has happened. Okay, just wait. I think we got hanged. I have to open again. The application got hanged. Again I am copying the value, server address, also ns3 semicolon I is equal to 1001. Okay, I'm going back to 21 and reading the data. Okay, I got data, and see, now we have plot all the data in the trend, and trends is very user friendly. You can drag and drop from anywhere, you can zoom even. Okay, these are our data. The data is in very small time frame, so that's why it's showing the bunch of data in single line. So in this way you can get all the historical data from OPC server between start and end time. So if you have any doubt or if you need any programming help, you can directly contact me or you can do comment on our YouTube video. So I'll get back to you. So thank you very much.